Welcome to a short video and interview of Seibert Media. I have two guests today. It's Pavel and Jacek from Spartez. Hi.
Hello, Martin. Thank you for having us again.
Yeah, I like the last session a lot, so I'm pretty excited to find out what we can learn about Agile Poker within Jira today. How about you introduce us real quick about your Atlassian Jira app, what it does, what the applications are, why do customers buy that, what is it good for?
Okay, so basically, Agile Poker for Jira, it serves one main purpose. It helps you estimate properly your issues, and thanks to this, later on commit to some goals during sprint planning and achieve them in timely manner. Thanks to this, your whole process of development can be predictable and self-paced. That's our main use case. Yeah, we use few methods to achieve this goal. First of all, it's like better estimating and setting sprint capacity.
If I should summarize the main use case, like I would say your tool answers the question, how long does it take? Like in a lot of cases, people start using Jira for project management, and then they have a lot of tasks. Some of them are pretty minimal and easy. So I don't even have to estimate how long it takes. I just know like we purchase that and then we carry it in our office and then the task is done. That's simple. But in a lot of cases, especially in software development, things aren't as simple. And then I have to ask people, how long will it take you to fulfill, to resolve this issue? And then those developers start scratching their heads and say, oh, it depends. And then if you have a whole Scrum team, you have like multiple people scratching their heads. And then we came up with these cards. And can you explain us a little bit about how Agile Poker physically started and how it works?
We will just highlight we can actually we have it on the presentation, so it's possible we can.
Yeah, okay. So let's dive in directly. So if you're watching this video, it's going to be good if you are an Atlassian Jira customer. So if you're using Atlassian Jira today, this is for you. If you are wanting to improve the way your company does projects, this is also interesting for you. You may well have to look somewhere else for some Jira basics, but this is specifically in Jira something that will help a Scrum team and also Kanban teams and other Agile teams to do better estimations, to answer more systematically how long will it take, both in terms of how high is the complexity, time will it take, how much, I don't know, communication is needed, all that put into one number. And I'm eager to learn how you put that in slides. We could have a whole webinar only on Agile Poker. So let's not do that, but also look at the tool.
Okay, let us present. Pavel, let's start sharing. Okay, can you see our screen?
Yes, that works.
So the topic of the presentation is how to choose the best methods of estimation for planning. And we all know that every planning session has its own rules, but today we will try to cover the best practices that we have, the learnings that we have from our experience and the experience of our customers. So today we have Pavel, senior support engineer, the guy who talks to clients.
And Jacek, of course, our product marketing manager, person responsible for our marketing activities in Spartez.
And just quickly mention that Spartez is a company that has 150 people divided into two organizations, one working for Atlassian and the other developing our own add-ons, Gold Top vendor, and one of the first in the ecosystem. So the topics that we would like to talk about, maybe the questions that we will try to discuss with Martin to answer them is, what if team operates in different time zones?
Yeah, what if I already have too many issues to estimate?
Or you may ask, what if your team is guesstimating rather than estimating? That's a common issue.
Yeah, those three questions were most commonly asked during evaluating of Agile Poker. We try to answer those questions because those seems to be the biggest one, the most troublesome when estimating.
Teams.
For the teams.
So, like you, Martin said, a lot of people have had jokes and told jokes about the software teams and the level of estimations and how they feel about it. So you can see at this picture that this guy is a software engineer because of the of his estimation skills, right? They sometimes want to make more than they're capable of. And we can also use the saying from Dan Radigan from Atlassian, who said that estimation is hard. For software developers, it's among the most difficult, if not the most difficult aspects of the job. We can also add that it's very stressful for them, right? You probably experienced this as well, right?
Yeah, I can fully second that. There's a lot of people in software development telling people that estimation should be abandoned altogether, and we'll find out one day. Problem is that every type of planning needs some sort of estimation or guesstimation. I can't decipher the difference, but
okay. So first, we would like to start with the difference of the story points versus hours.
Yeah, okay. So whenever you would like to measure something, usually you try to measure in hours. That's how we work. But ironically, we're not good at estimating in absolute values. We're much better at estimating using relative values, which are story points.
To cover this, we would like to show this funny picture. Like, imagine that we have two people standing in the same location. We have building in the distance. So if we will try to estimate something using days or hours, the two may argue about how long does it take to run to the house. It's subjective. One may say it's 5 minutes. The other may say it's 10. It depends from the physics, from their experience, and many different things. But rather than this, they may try to ask themselves how far is the house. So it should be more objective. They should probably discuss about how long it is, right? How far is the house? It should be easier for them to argue to agree on the same value.
Yeah, because actually right now we're not measuring how much time it will take, rather the size of the problem, how big it is,
exactly,
and how much effort it might cost us.
So I would want to add something to this slide. I think it's a very good introduction on how measuring time is difficult because the time will vary from team member to team member.
Yeah.
At the same time, the challenge in this slide is meters, or maybe for American viewers, yards, is a metric or dimension that they know from other parts of their life since years or since longer. And the problem with story points for a lot of new Agile teams is that they've never worked story. So it's a new dimensionless thing that measures, as far as I'd say, it measures complexity. So how complex is it to fulfill this task? And it's also what's also making story points pretty difficult is it changes, or the amount of story points that people or teams will assign to a specific task varies from team to team, which is okay because it's dimensionless. But
actually, yeah, because we even heard yesterday this question: should story points be made some absolute values across the whole Jira? So no, because if for each team, story point can mean two different completely things. Yeah. So in one team, one story point can mean can mean something else than one story point in the other team. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like if you're a team that has a very maturity on velocity or the team velocity, some of our teams have a rule of thumb that, for example, a story point is roughly about a person day. But this is not a very good thing to start with. And even if you're going like this, it's still very dangerous.
Estimating one story point 1% day actually is estimating in hours. You just use story points, fancy and
I fully agree. The challenge is if you're talking to people who are not familiar with Scrum, Agile, Kanban, these things, it's sometimes you have to translate back into euros, and then those man days, hours, come into play again. But let's not dive into too deep into that. Let's assume we all want to have story points.
Okay.
So most common use for story points is planning poker. Okay, probably many of you have heard about planning poker. So what it actually is. So it's a consensus-based, this is important part, consensus-based gamified technique for estimating, mostly used to estimate effort in software development. Well, the method were first defined and then by James Gerarding and was
popularized by Mike
Cohn in his book Agile Estimations. So, okay, how you can actually do it right now? How Agile poker, planning poker actually works. So we have a cards. Yeah, we're trying cards, physical cards, and they are based values from 0 to 100. Well, this is like an example or template of points that can be used. Those points are based on Fibonacci sequence. Well, based on, because we have a half in here, and as you can probably imagine, 20 is not among numbers in Fibonacci sequence. And let's say we are estimating one issue, how much story points it has, how big complexity of it is. And we have three person in the room. Let's say Mike, John, and Amy. Mike and John said that this issue is 3 story points, but Amy says it's 5 story points. So okay, they show their votes and they ask Amy, okay, why 5 story points? Why did you cast 5 story points? And Amy saying, bum, bum, bum. Okay, those 3 issues. This is 5 story points because of those 3 reasons. And then the round is repeated, and they all cast 5 story points. And that's important part, because this 5 story points later on then will be used as a complexity of this issue. It's not a majority vote. This is not a vote. Yeah, this is consensus based, and the whole team usually should agree that the vote that the story points estimate is correct.
In most cases, what I experience is that the team will end up using the higher cast if they can't agree after a certain amount of iterations on what the complexity is. By the way, if you are, as a viewer, are unsure how this planning poker with the cards works, there's probably like hundreds of videos out there that explain that way better than we can do it right now. So we'll assume that you know how planning poker with cards works. And maybe we should also assume that you know that why the distance between those numbers increases. In one sentence, it's because the complexity is way more difficult to estimate the higher it is. Like if it's a small task, just buy this and bring it to the office. We can argue whether this is half a story point or a story point, and it's an easy discussion. Whether if it's something that no one has done, and we know we'll have to pull in some externals to learn something, and then we can start and try out, and then probably it's more of a 20, 40, or 100 thing, and it's very difficult from so far away to estimate something.
Yeah, actually, whenever I see 100 story points, my suggestion is try to split the issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that would also be probably a part of such a another video that is introducing the method. Having those high numbers is almost always an indication for the product owner has to go back to the stakeholders and talk about how can we make this more, how can we operationalize it, how can we break this up into different things so that people understand better. They can.
Exactly. So right now we'll only like scratch the surface of the topic. I will just would like to add that the whole point of this method is to give voice to every member, every team member, right? So everyone could have to show what they think about how big is the issue, and then let them discuss it, let them say what they think about it, right?
What I also see a lot is that teams, this method helps teams to really make sure that everyone in the team understands what the task or the issue is about. Because initially, the goal is that the whole team commits to a certain amount of story points. So if all team members are present and they pull out their cards, and one of the team members has a very high card, they will most likely be questioned by us. So how you come to pull up a 40 when we all only have a 5? Then they have a discussion, and the guy with the 40 maybe finds out that he understood something completely different from what's the goal of the task. And then maybe in the next round, he'll also pull out a 5, and everyone is on the same page. And also, as a team, we've defined what exactly is the task. And that's also something that, so you get more out of estimation poker than just a simple estimation. It's also like communication and synchronization of what actually needs to be done.
Exactly, and thanks to cards, it's less formal, right? It's nice to use this method, right? So let's move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Another problem is okay. So the problem with this is that they all have to be in the same room. The problem is location, but aside of that, you can actually use Jira applications. Yeah, there are out there Jira applications that can help you out with this, and actually have implemented already planning poker into the Jira itself. So right now I'm going to switch for a second and going to start sharing my screen in a moment, because I have already view on this screen where I have multiple persons watching the same backlog. So what will be the scenario? The scenario will be that we're having 3 persons watching a backlog view, and they're all trying to estimate issues on a backlog. And how they're going to estimate it? Well, they're going to use planning poker methodology with using, of course, our
Agile
tool.
Poker for Jira.
Agile Poker for Jira, yeah. So, okay, how we have it. Okay, they're loading. I can think it's like I can start screen sharing.
Yes, Martin, you wanted to say something? No?
No, all good. I thought you forgot to share your screen, but then
No.
said he would start it, so
yeah,
it's all good. We can see your screen right now.
Okay, so right now we have a one person, admin, called here, who is viewing Scrum project. I'm gonna switch back to the one screen. So right now in from user 2 perspective, and we're gonna also try to view Scrum project, and another 3rd member of the team who is also trying to view Scrum project team. Right now I'm going to switch to the view of the admin. And so, okay, let's say I would like to estimate those issues here. We join a session, admin at example session, and we can start estimating actually right now. But as you can see, only I am online. The rest of them are offline. Captain Picard is not looking at this board, and Harry Potter is also not looking at this board. So let them go online as well. We join.
And the session will be populated automatically once you start it, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, depends. Actually, I can later on show you how this works, because you can specify who can join the session or not. That's one thing. Or you can make the session open to everybody.
Yeah.
On the beginning, I've specified exactly who should be there, so it's easier to see who is not and who's in.
Is there a deep link to join?
Oh no. No,
that's a nice feature request.
No.
Okay.
Because so no, because we assume that you're all. This is interactive session mode.
Yeah.
That you should be viewing the board already. So like.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. I can give the Jira link and tell people join the session, please.
Just go to this board and join the session. So okay, let's say admin Captain Admin is casting his vote. So let's say he says, okay, this is one story point. From another person perspective, he can see that admin has already casted his vote, but cannot see exactly how much. How big it is, yes. So he says, okay, this is 2 story points. And the last person decides, okay, I say this is 2 story points. And after all those votes are cast, we can see those actually numbers. So we can make a decision based on those numbers, and we're not biased by other people's choices.
Who can make the decision? Everyone, or just the admin, or who?
This is a setting. In this particular scenario, I've chosen that everyone can choose it, but you can limit it to one person, and this person will be known as a Scrum Master of a session.
Yeah, okay.
Scrum Master of a session can be limited, that only him can save estimates. So we can, for example, let's say that, okay, we're looking at this issue, Scrum number 1, and we say this is 2 story points.
Can I ask a question on this?
Of course.
There's now you probably have story points that is populated with this 2 story points right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of customers who use a scaled agile framework, a safe framework, to try to put Scrum in place for a lot of different teams. And then, for example, they have a weighted shortest job first method of estimating stuff. So they'll ask for things like business value, risk, opportunity, and story points. So they will to estimate the cost of delay. So they would need 3 different values to be estimated. Would that be possible? Would it be possible to have different things estimated only?
Okay, 3 things estimated at the same time? No, that's not.
Okay.
But in actually in board settings, you can define which one of them should be used. Like,
okay. So after one another, that would be possible.
Yes, of course. Well, having them all at the same time, no, because this would clutter UI. Like
yeah, I understand that.
But yeah, it's possible if you change them one by one. So you can have 3 sessions estimating. Actually, because I don't know if those 3 values would even be estimated all by the same persons, because like you have complexity, you have impact, you can have business value. So those values can be estimated by different persons. Yeah, so they should not even be at the same session. Done.
Okay. Yep. Well, count it as an answer.
Okay. And actually, that's it. Yeah. Right now you have implementation of Agile Poker functionality within Jira itself. It's from backlog view, board view. We have implemented as well on Kanban boards, so we can on Kanban also use this methodology. But it has few nice features in front of it. So first of all, let's say, okay, as I mentioned at the beginning, is that we achieve. What's the plan here? The plan here is that we estimate our issues, and then we commit to something. Why do we commit? Because now we can know how much we can achieve. So if we're on Scrum, we know that in the past we have, like, let's say in the last sprint, I've burned 16 story points. So we have added this cool functionality called sprint capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So how it works. So in this particular board, I know that my previous velocity was 16 points. I was able to burn down 16 points. And let's say, okay, I remember, Martin, you were saying something about man days. Yeah, we have something called man days.
I said person days, yeah, but it's okay.
That's okay. Let's say person days. So let's say that in previous sprint, I had about 20 person days. I had 20 person days because one person was 5 days, another was 7, and the last person was 8 days. So in next sprint, okay, there are 3 persons in the team. So the Scrum Master will be for 8 days. Captain Picard will be for 7 days. And the Harry Potter guy will be for 8 days as well. So as you can see, we can see exactly our capacity, which will be 23 person days. And based on our previous velocity, we can see our current velocity, which is 18.5.
Yeah.
We'll save it. And right now, okay, I have one sprint that is not yet started. So if I drag and drop issues from other sprints to it, confirm. Okay. Yeah, that's only one. And I start adding issues. You can see this is automatically being updated.
Yeah.
5 story points. And if I keep adding issue, let's say I cross the line a little bit. I add 21 story points, something that I can clearly cannot commit to. It immediately turns red. It's not that we disallow you for this. You can still do it, yeah. But we suggest, okay, man, you're probably overestimating. Little bit overestimation is good. Then you, in this way, you have something to do in Friday night. But
yeah. I'll tell it to our teams next time. Question: the way you've presented that, this is a method that, like with the cards, I do it synchronously. Do you see customers use that asynchronously? Is there a special feature for that? Is that recommended, or would you rather discourage people from doing that not at the same time?
Yeah, we have it covered, so give us a second and we will go through this
Okay, cool.
on next slides. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Actually,
let's go to presentation.
Yeah, we have it covered. Yeah. Okay, so we have this issue.
This is it.
This is
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That was also like a reason why I was asking that.
You're a mind reader. Seriously. Next question was, teams operate in different time zones. So many times, like recent years, we can see that companies are based in multiple continents, spanning multiple time zones. And like in the past, people usually try to be at the same time. The PC, like Australia was in the late evening and America was in the early morning, and Europe could not, just because like, it's not possible right now. There are so many time zones being occupied by software developers, you cannot attend one meeting. Just impossible. So you need to figure out some idea how to address the problem of estimations. So there are a few ideas. First of them would be like create a Confluence page and discuss estimations in comments. Okay, I've been there, I've seen it, and usually it ends up in flame wars and inline wars, edit wars, and lengthy comments which actually are not resolving an issue, rather creating new problems. So,
but sometimes people may try, like that's how it started probably before the Confluence pages. People try to connect via online tools. They try to talk, and one person is handling the session, which actually turns out in a lot of noises in the background with children running around and like many things that you don't like to have in the session. So Confluence, and if not Confluence,
try tools that let you estimate asynchronously, and we have this kind of tool. So I'm going to show you like in a matter of seconds. So okay, let me abandon this. Let me create a new session. So we create a new session called Asynchronous session.
Okay.
Yes, it's called exactly Asynchronous, and there is one small globe there to suggest, okay, this is for global users. We specified which issues we would like to estimate. Like, say I would like to estimate the whole backlog. I specified participants, and as this is like offline and can take some time to estimate all issues, then we do send an invitation email to the participants.
Yeah.
So actually, this makes sense right now. So we can specify Scrum Master in this admin. We then specify which estimation field should be used. This is right now not on board settings, but can be predefined before session even starts. We create a session, and like how it works, I just click on an issue, cast my vote, and let's say and actually give us a clear comment about it. So let's say save and next. And when I save my estimate, one thing, this is my vote being cast, shown, and I can see that it also has some comments near to it.
Yeah, cool.
That's actually almost it. And let's say, okay, estimation of bug.
Okay, and in my shortest first job first thing in the safe paradigm, I could have multiple sessions with different people for the different dimensions.
Yes, exactly. In this case, yeah, because you will specify the estimation field on the beginning of the session. Yeah. So you can, for example, call the session. Let's say this is this one. So let's create a new session, Asynchronous. So original estimate backlog as well. Next.
And then different field. That's all. Yeah.
And then here we actually estimate how much. This is time field. This is time field. So here we can specify exactly how much time we think it can take. Yeah, so let's say 42, 21, 100, and so on, so forth.
Yeah, get it.
Afterwards, we can close the session. Notify participants. No, I don't want to notify participants. And I can even see exactly, okay, in this case, I've just had one person voting, but I can see estimate distribution of estimates. So let's say I'm going to not use this one. This is admin session, so I'm going to switch for a moment to this person. Okay. And they will cast their votes as well. All of them once. Let's say they don't want to estimate, they just want to get rid of it and be over with it. And what will happen? Another person always casts 2 story points. Okay. And as you can see, when I casted my last vote, we can see that everyone has finished their estimations. Everyone. So we switch to view of admin, Scrum Master. Who is the Scrum Master? He sees that, okay, everyone has casted a vote. I'm going to close my session. Notify? Nope. Or I can notify. I don't care. So now, if I go to the issue, I can see exactly how many votes were cast. I can see my distribution of votes, so I can make a conscious decision. Okay, let's say this is 2 story points. Save and next. Okay, the next issue, clearly 2 is winning. This is not a democracy. We make consensus-based decision, but still, we can do the same here. Let's say it's 1. After the decision, I think it's 1. This is 2. And so on and so forth. This is actually no different from the previous, just we can do it asynchronously and cast our votes ahead of time.
What do you see your customers use a lot? Like synchronous estimating or asynchronous estimating? What's most?
It depends on the platform. Cloud mostly, or cloud can see most recently the rise of asynchronous because the cloud team seems to be more distributed. Server mostly interactive, and our new third session, which will cover
the hottest one.
Yeah, the new is the hottest one, but yeah, interactive is a clear winner right now.
I just need to add that this mode, the asynchronous one, is often used by the teams that would like to prepare themselves before the session. That's also important. So they're estimating asynchronous, like with this mode asynchronously, and then they meet in one room to estimate.
Okay, to take the decision, kind of like everyone can try to understand what it's about, and then they cast a vote, and then they decide what is okay.
Okay, another thing is that, let me switch back. So yeah, let me switch back for a sec to the presentation again. So
sometimes you have the issue of having too many issues to estimate. The backlog grows. You have 50 issues, 100 issues, 200 issues, and you know that you cannot have your team in the room and use planning poker, because it will take eternity, right? So you need something faster, and that mode is called relative sessions. It's based on team estimation game, which is probably the fastest estimation technique that there is. So you can also use cards. You're beginning with a pile, you put the first card, let's say, on the table, and then you take another one from the pile. The other person comes, take another card, and decide relatively if it's smaller or bigger than the task laying on the ground on the table. So in this way, you are trying to put all cards, all issues on the table in columns, and then assign story points. Yeah, so just to briefly say how it works.
The idea behind this is like almost, not almost, very similar to backlog ordering, being done by multiple persons, but we end up with kind of buckets of issues that we can estimate later on.
Yeah, it's much. So instead of cards, you can also use Agile Poker for Jira.
Hold on, let me interrupt you real quick. So if you have never heard of estimation game, this would also be some point where you want to refer to a Wikipedia article or other videos. I'm pretty sure that there's also good resources to learn how estimation game works. It's a very simple thing that most Agile teams start with to get into this Agile point thing. And it's also, as Pavel and Jacek said, a very good way to estimate a lot of stuff instead of doing it one by one. There's also downsides, but I'm very interested to find out your new beta feature, obviously.
Well, it's not anymore beta. Actually, we should, because this label here is just HTML. We can remove it, and we are going to remove it because it's for half a year already.
Yeah, it was fresh. Right now, it's like
yes,
it's tested, and it's
tested perfectly. So I'm going to show how it actually looks like. So we just choose relative session. Then we choose which issues we would like to estimate.
For the demo purposes, we'll just use few of them. You may have 100 or even
doesn't
more.
matter. You can set the whole of backlog. So we choose one issue. Okay, this is our reference points, our beginning, our starting point from later on, which we will move on. So we have this task. Okay, it's bigger or smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger. Okay, it's smaller. I think it's smaller. So next main. Okay, now we have a discussion. We have people in the room, and we discuss. It's bigger, smaller, or somewhere in between. Okay, they say it is somewhere in between. This bug, this bug is very, very ugly. It's big. Okay, this task, well, this task is more or less between first and the second column. Okay, I hover and I add it. Later on, all the other issues, after some discussion, can be placed and assigned to those columns as well. And if I drop the last issue, what happens? I'm being asked, okay, assign points to it, not story point. No, I don't know yet what it can be done. So I say 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. I don't know. Okay, you haven't seen Bruce probably, but I just press tab, and that's it. And now I'm going to save my estimates. I'm saving estimates, and it asks me which field I would like to store it in.
Like that.
So again, we can choose something completely different. And well, everything that is number value, yeah, it has number value, and we're done. We say story points, save. Okay, it's done. As you can see, my board is already starting to be estimated. Yeah, you can add issues on the fly. So, for example, let's say, we forgot about few other issues to estimate. We can again join relative estimation and open last session. Configure a session and add another issue. Let's say those 3. And you can see they are populated arrows here. Okay, so now we have both of best words. We have point of reference, 1, 2, 3 already, and we have also this relative comparison.
Mm-hmm. Like an estimation game.
Exactly.
That's very well, a very good representation of how we have done it on paper here. So I actually learned something. I didn't know that this was as simple and seamless available in Jira. And I think that a lot of experienced Scrum teams will feel very similar once they see that this is available. That's definitely something that I can bake into existing processes of our teams without having them to change anything, actually, right?
Actually, this method is first method that is not like Agile Poker directly concerned. Yeah, like we tried something else, like how you can estimate in other ways, because it has nothing to do with Agile Poker, completely nothing to do with Agile Poker. So we tried to some other means of estimating, and the idea was that you estimate however you would like to, yeah, and based on the problems that client had.
Did I understand correctly that you're thinking of making this a separate app?
Not really.
No.
Yeah. We are thinking like about the other ways that Agile Poker as an app can evolve. So we made an experiment with the name to convert Agile Poker to Agile Estimates, because it's probably not Agile like directly Agile Poker anymore. We will think about it later.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's quite fresh.
Let me ask you some questions of people who like that. Like those things that you just have shown us, they are available on the Atlassian marketplace, right?
Yeah, both on cloud and on server. It's available on server and on the cloud as well.
Okay. And I can buy it there. I can contact Seibert Media or any other Atlassian partner and buy that. What about the competition? There's a lot of other Agile Poker and Agile estimation apps out there. Some of them are even free. What's the difference?
Well, free is never free. Like whenever I hear free, I say no. Why? Because I don't know if the issue will be supported later on. So whenever somebody says to me, "Hey, this is free," I say no, because I have processes which I have to maintain. There are Jira upgrades. There are things that can happen, blow up, and if it's free, how can I receive support? So whenever I hear free, I say no. Just that's it. Yeah.
Just like Matt's door, like
he also says that there are no free.
So you pay with risk.
Yeah. Yes, you pay with risk, and you cannot estimate risk easily. While money actually can estimate it pretty. Yeah. And you also can go to the pages of reviews. All those add-ons actually can see what's going on with this.
What do people think about it?
What do people think about it? How the reviews are? What they're concerned about?
What do people think about your plugin? Can you tell us a little bit about reference cases or people who? Are there any success stories that you can tell us about?
Yes, of course. We have a few customer successes. Actually, okay, we were just showing you the Agile Poker relative session, yeah? So in their scenario, we had the case of a customer who said that he was able to estimate 100 issues in an hour. He had a backlog of, I don't know, few thousand issues. Okay, you may say this is ridiculous. You cannot have few thousand issues and estimate them. So what? You will have like work for 2 years or a year. And actually, his use case made sense because he was rewriting an application from, I think it was, I don't want to lie, but I think it was from the Flash, from the old applications using
Flash technology.
Yeah, Flash technology on the web into JavaScript. So he exact number of specifications, what should be done, designs, and he could estimate more or less what's the complexity of this issue. And he was laying down work for his teams for 2 years ahead, and he had to estimate at least roughly estimate the whole backlog as fast as possible. I think like hundreds of issues in an hour, 100, so less than a minute per issue, and he estimated his whole backlog thanks to actually relative estimations.
Yeah, we have to say that most of our products, maybe even all of them, are they are driven by feedback from customers. So another feedback that we got in terms of Agile Poker was from customer that wanted to introduce planning poker methodology in his team, but he had issues with management. That whenever they were using story points, the management was like converting numbers into days and hours anyway, right? Because this is a number, this is a number.
It's a very common problem, I can tell you.
Common problem. So he asked us to introduce another option, like t-shirt sizing. So thanks to his feedback, actually now in Agile Poker we can specify if you would like to use values or t-shirt sizing, or like we learned yesterday at Agile User Group in New York that some people can use fruits, for example.
Yeah, bananas,
apples,
pineapples. I don't know why. Yeah, so you can use this, and then later on those values like t-shirt sizing, S, L, XL, XXL will be translated into story points at a later moment. Yeah, that's one idea, and that's actually customer asked why you don't have it. Why we might have it, and we added it in the next iteration. It was added on the server for sure.
Okay, so it's available on the marketplace, cloud and server. You'll support it. There's a lot of people using that and having a lot of success with it. Like in a nutshell, what's a good? You had those 3 questions. What else would you ask to find out whether I need this Agile estimation app or
Okay,
not?
I'm going to tell you why. Because we have another issue that we haven't actually asked.
Okay.
Guess estimating rather than estimating. So many times, this is actually driven a little bit by customer who said about this. What's happening? So usually, whenever you estimate, you compare your current task at hand to something you've already done in the past. Yeah. So we have to do something. Okay. You estimate it. How do you estimate it? This is more or less like some kind of jobs that are already done. So how you can do it? Like also Dan Radigan to the rescue. He suggested something called retro perspectives. When there is a time for the team to incorporate insights from the past iterations, including the accuracy of their estimates. Well, this is good. Retro perspectives are good. Retrospectives are good and they should be done, but they're more of like damage control than actual solution. Yeah, you need something proactively gathering the context of previously finished issues. So we actually have baked up this problem, this solution for this problem into our application. This is how it looks here, but everybody can make a video. So we're going to show you a live demo. We're going to switch back to the view of Scrum session. They all will look, oh, okay, it doesn't actually matter because we can show it how it works for one person only. So, okay, let's say I would like to estimate this issue. Okay, in the previously, I've hidden this panel, but what this panel actually does, I'm going to expand it. What we have here. So here we have something called Triangulation panel. Why Triangulation panel? Because we use 3 issues to roughly estimate where it can be placed. Like what's the point in this in space and time? How much story points it can be given. So in this situation, whenever I hover over 2 story points, as you can see here, I can see issues done in the past that had 2 story points. Yeah, this information is being taken from the Jira, from this project, and if I hover over 3, I can see those issues are changing, and I can actually right now make it informed decision how much story point it is. Okay, this is 3 story points.
Yeah.
So if I hover over anything else, I can actually get this information all the time. There is one problem though. Those issues are like most recently finished. So we have.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
This is also working with different fields, right? So if I switch the fields that I'm estimating,
yes,
it will show me those for the other dimension.
Well, story points are actually connected to finished tasks, but yeah. We will just fetch issues that were previously finished with this field being filled.
Cool. I like that a lot. That's actually a very valuable feature because it helps people to get more context for their estimate.
The other thing here is that like those values, as they are fresh and they are cool, because you have still memory about them. There was one problem. In time, the story points tend to inflate or deflate. Like either you overestimate or underestimate. There are multiple reasons behind this. So you cannot actually commit to something in like longer period of time. You'll see this after 3 months or half a year. So what you can do, and actually what one of our customers has done. So you can set up some issues in stone. Okay, look, this is 1 story point. This is 3 story points, and this is 5. We've heard the story of a customer who had printed out issues with 1 story point, 2 story points, 3 story points, and 5 story points.
When he wanted to use physical cards.
Yeah, he wanted to use physical cards, and he always had this reference. So you can set them up in stone, and then you can use them all the time. So they don't change. Those are changeable only by Scrum Master.
So the main difference between this approach and the retrospectives is this: that in retrospectives you are always evaluating like things done in the past, what you have to do to not make the same mistakes in the future. Here you have the context in the very moment of estimations, right? Which helps much better.
much more. Yeah, it helps much more.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, I think that's it, almost it practically, because
so yeah, a quick summary. So when the team operates in different time zones, go for the tools that lets you estimate asynchronously.
Yeah, if you have many issues to estimate, don't be scared to try relative sizing. Like seriously, I love this. I love this session. I use it even on my own purpose. I prefer it from Agile Pocket. It's so nice.
And to secure better estimations in time, use reference issues. If you would like to read more, like you said, Martin, you can go to YouTube. For sure, you have a lot of videos there. But if you would like to read, you can go to Atlassian blog. You can read the Mike Cohn's blog. You can read team estimation about team estimation game at Detroit's Androids. And
there is an Agile Rebels blog post which is written on now, which actually we were working together with them on, and they were the guys that made the heavy theory crafting behind this panel here. Yes?
Yeah, they visited us in our company. They reviewed the app and they say that this feature might be missing, so we thought about it and here it is. So again, if you would like to test the app, go on.
Thank you so much for this company helping you do that, because this actually makes a big difference in my opinion, because it helps people, as I said, to get more context while estimating. Pretty valuable, because people will draw decisions based on those estimates. Sometimes also a yes or no decision that could like turn the project down altogether. So having a good basis for such higher level discussions is valuable, and the context helps a lot.
Well, actually,
that's very valuable.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think a USP that you should make visible in your sales pitches.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that.
Well, the fact is that actually you always you unknowingly use those reference issues. Whenever I would ask you, okay, how much story points you think this issue have, you will subconsciously compare it to the previously finished tasks. Yeah, so you are doing it. You just don't know it most of the time, or not. You're not aware of this situation, but you are comparing it. I even caught myself once when I was estimating an issue. I was looking at the issue where I had to cast my vote. Okay, and I said to myself, okay, this is more or less like the issue I've done in previous sprints. So 2 story points. Yeah. So we are doing it, but thanks to this, you can do the decision based on some facts and not your intuition. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the point of all this is to help developers make the better estimates with less stress. I can add to. Yeah.
Well, less stress and more accurately. Yeah. Well, stress is good sometimes.
Yeah. So give us your face for the ending of the session. Jacek, Pavel, that was very insightful for me. It's also new for me. I hope that for those people watching this video, it's also helpful and a good first step to try out this technology. If you want to ask questions, you can put them down in the comments. You can like the video, obviously. You can contact Spartez through their live chat, for example. It's a reference to a video that we 3 have done a couple of weeks ago. So there's more Spartez videos that we've recorded together. How can I reach Spartez on the web?
Multiple ways. We'll have like abundant means of communication. So first of all, go to Spartez.com. Bottom right side, there is a chat. Start a conversation. We're there. That's first thing. Second thing, we have a mail address, I think even. Yeah, we don't? Yes, we have. Support@Spartez.com. SUPPORT
like
Spartez. Yeah, like support. Yeah, support@Spartez.com. We're there. We also always try to answer ASAP.
Then we have Confluence at Spartez.com with our documentation, so you can read more about the apps there.
Okay, multiple ways, probably also social media.
Yeah,
and sure, you can go via.
I found them easily when I tweeted about this session, so you will do as well. Spartez is SPARTEZ. Jacek, Pavel, thank you so much for your time. And I'm looking forward to our next session about another app that you run.
Thank you. Thank you. It was very good to be your guest again. Thank you for very good questions. And thank you for the time. Thank you, guys.
Hopefully see you again. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.